Probably thought I melted away and disappeared, but I'm still here. It's just, it's life, man. You know, you have a job that I can do. Let's talk about me. You know, you have a job that you're capable of doing, but just isn't you. The stress, and then you add that to the physical nature of it, and then add more stress. It just wears you out. So I made it to my day off, and I just have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then I have the weekend off to recover. That's basically it. It's just a cycle of survival at this point. But I'm down here amassing some hours, if not minutes, on making bows. I really like those tips. Let me work the camera on that. Kind of a close-up. Kind of hard to see. I mean, colors are kind of the same. But it's sinew backed up to here, then wrapped, and then that's just bare wood, and that is sapwood against, again, that brilliant yellow thus far, because it'll darken, it's photoreactive, of the Osage. This is a nice bow. Of course, you know, you're going to get some white there, and, you know, some of it might fade over time. I can work with it, you know, to reduce it to some point, but it's sinew. You know, relax. Speaking of relaxing, I might have led you, due to my over-cautious nature when I approach bows, because, you know, these bows are going to go into other people's hands, so you need to be very careful with how you do them. But with my cautiousness, I might have led you to believe that, like, on every inside curve of sinew backing is awaiting danger. Not so. There are a couple instances where you have to have some sinew wraps. More or less. You know, there's no absolutes here. There's no hard and fast rules. There's so many exceptions to sticks and strings that you can't just say, this is the way it is. You know, so you're gonna take things with a grain of salt. But in this case, sinew backed a recurve, right? It's a wide area, relatively wide area. Not Nebraska wide, but wide by bow standards. It was secured and allowed to dry nicely on that recurve. So as that keeps shrinking a little bit, it's just going to either not be able to draw it in the more recurve or draw it in the recurve. It's not going to break loose unless I did a bad job sinew backing, sizing, the whole 9 yards. That's fine. I would almost consider this a place for sinew wrapping, because the sinew comes up here and then it just ends and goes to bare wood. And you can think of, over time, that it's possible that maybe moisture, whatever, will get under that sinew at the end and it starts peeling up. Good insurance, little sinew wrapping. Another instance of sinew wrapping, let me get this one, not so much. I need to get more of this. Okay. As in the case of my little horse bows, where the handles go in thinner, limbs, and then choo. So you're doing the back. And you're the type of person that just sinew backs the back and not carries it down the edge like I do. Yeah, whatever. You do you, I'll do me. So if I just sinew back the back, you know, where it goes through here, this inside curve, yes. You know, chances are, no matter how much you bind it down when it's drying, you know, from fresh, you're probably going to see some wood right here. You know, it's going to straighten out. Things are going to happen. Does it affect the bow? No, because really, it's not bending there, for one thing. That's inside of the heel. But if you're an edge backer like I am, sorry to scare you there. Got it on the back, and I carry it down the edge here. This little area right here, got the sinew going down the edge. It'll probably pop up. That will probably pop up. There's so much shrinking going on, and that inside curve right there, the edge will probably lift up. Now you can relax it. Careful when you do this. I am very careful, and I do it all the time. Did it on this bow to eliminate some of the white lines. It just happens. Don't hold it right over that steam kettle, right where that fine point of steam is, because you could do things to the sinew. It doesn't want to be super heated. But if you back it up a little bit, that nice hot steam will relax that, so you can just push it back in. And then temporary wrap a sinew gauze, whatever. Just to put more glue in there and then stick it down. And maybe not. It might pull up. The danger is once you get sinew pulling up anywhere, it could continue on. So maybe, nice casual little sinew wraps right here. And then cover it up with your handle wrap. You don't need to see the sinew wraps. I always do it as a matter of course on my little horse bows with the reflexed handle. For one reason, yeah, again, it's like a recurve. It probably won't pull up, but I just like putting wraps of sinew on the handle. It doesn't affect the speed of the bow whatsoever freaking ever, because it's at the center of the bow. It's not out here. So why not? If you wanted to carry it to extremes and spend a lot of your sinew and just do the whole handle, knock yourself out. I don't, because that's a lot of sinew. Yeah. Oh, you asked about a snake bowl. Let me get something here. This is going to be soon made Osage orange. And I only need to go down a few rings, and I'll talk about that too, to get to a fat ring. And it's got like the handle marked out, and it's got their snakes. And what's weird about this is a weird Osage stave, because there's no propeller twist. And it lines up through the handle. How is that even possible? It's Osage. Now here's the dealio. A fellow, I overstimulated the fear in some people, and he was asking about, he's going to sinew back a Snaky Osage bow. Does he need to have the wraps, on the inside? No. Because sinew's laying on here, you would have to shift laterally. And there's a lot of bonding here, so it's, no. Just sinew back it like a regular bow. You don't need to figure out, I'm going to do it straight through here. I can get a straight one down to the, not necessary. Sinew is your friend. It's cuddly and friendly. It's very forgiving. Just go ahead and sinew back it. B part of that question was, well, if I sinew back it, is it going to affect the way the limbs bend? Now picture this, you got wonks, and let's exaggerate this, like super snaky, where it almost goes horizontal and then back up. Your chances of having that bow as viewed from the side when you're pulling it back, your chances are about zero of it just flexing like a nice straight flat bow. It's going to do some wobbly things there. Does the bow care? No. Who amongst us has not made a badly propeller twisted bow and just said, oh, heck with it. Why bother? I'm just going to make a propeller twisted bow. Does the bow care? No. It bends. It responds. Arrow goes that way. Doesn't matter. If the limbs have some twist in them, whatever. What freaking ever. I need to stress that. The bow doesn't care. Will it bother you that you draw it back and the limbs are doing odd and sundry things? Does it bother you? I hate to be rude, but I need to really push this point home. That's your problem. The bow doesn't care. It's still gonna bend it. Try to straighten out after the arrow's released. Throw the arrow. All is good. Just don't look at your bow from the side. If you expect it to be a perfect bending curve, the bow not doing any of this stuff as it's going back, then maybe snaky bows aren't your thing. Just pretend it's not happening. Live with it. Understand it. Be conscious of its foibles. and love it even more. I know I'm getting kind of screwy here, but I have to tell you, you know, there are things that I'm deeply afraid of at this point in my life and the life of our country. Man. And I'm not going to get into that, you know. I can tell you how victory will probably be snatched, or defeat will be pulled from the jaws of victory because of one thing. One thing. People wanted to win every single battle, and it's going to result in losing the war. You know, but I'm not going to get into that. Well, what did I cover? The tips, this is neat. And I was thinking originally, now picture this. I've got this little point right there, that little point. Taking the inside of the knock and then working it away so it actually looks kind of like a diamond with the bottom portion curved. That's a tough one. Because I do really like this. I really like this. I've got the handle wrap for it. It's in the house, but I was doing some work on it. I wound up sanding it nice and smooth, and I kept the dust on it, whatever minuscule amounts of sinew and hide glue, because I didn't go in. I don't want to like sand through fibers, because it's kind of like going through growth rings. So it was just kind of a nice light sanding to make it nice and smooth, and then without blowing the dust off, thinking that it might fill in whatever little divots are on here, just warm water. I didn't use hide glue. I just used warm, hottish water and just wiped it down and dissolved that white powder, and it went in there nicely. And yeah, it's so funny to me looking at this thing. It's basically straight now. I mean, there's a little roller coaster in this limb. How wonky and how not straight that stave was. And again, Osage, love it. Okay, one more point here. Actually, the person that's going to possess this bow and also bought that small Osage gull wing with the sinew string and a B50. It was B50, not B55, because I like B50. I don't know. I just like it. And I've got a bunch of it. He asked me, he's on eBay, and was thinking about buying a couple staves at a really good price. Osage can be expensive. And he asked me, you know, do you have to have a thick ring? Do you have to work down to a thick ring? Because both these lower priced staves were thin ring from start to finish. If it's sinew back, no. Nope. You can work thin ringed Osage and sinew back it and you'll be fine. But I'm going to tip towards conventional wisdom, and if it's going to be a self bow and not like a 68-inch 35-pound bow, because you know it depends on the weight. You could have a 68-inch 35-pound Osage bow, thin ring for the back, you know, and it's probably going to be okay because 35 pounds. But if you're going for, I want to maximize it, because bows are most efficient when they're closing in on the limits. It's like you got to balance the price. If they are at such a great deal, because premium Osage can be pricey, you know, sure, you know, get the 270 inches, make, you know, a couple 64. I'd cut them down to 64 if I'm going to sinew back it. I wouldn't do 66, you know, for 55-pound bow. 64-inch and Osage can handle it. Sinew back bow, why not? I wouldn't buy them for horse bows, because if they're 70 inches, you know, what's half of that? 35 inches? That's very short bows, and you don't want to waste, cut them up to 48 and then have this much Osage. What do I do with it? You'll have to cut them in half and then join them. But if it's close in price, you know, you might as well go and get a bow that's not going to limit you, because you might intend to do a self bow and then switch your mind and want to do or you might want to do a sinew back bow and then switch your mind over your decision and make a self bow. Don't. I wouldn't. You know, if it's going to be a decent weight Osage self bow, a thick ring. I won't go wrong saying I believe in thick rings for self bows if they're of decent weight in their Osage. Ellie Enterprises. Laverne. I don't know. Gosh, I hope he's still in business. There's some things, behind the scenes. I'm not going to get personal. I hope he's still in business and doing well. Ellie Enterprises. You can trust him. What you see is what you get. He's a good guy, good solid guy. And also sells from time to time, or has, a walnut and other woods, because he lives in an area with a varied forest. Another thing to think about, I also told the fellow that is going to possess this bow along with that other one, think about vine maple. That's a bowwood that not many people are aware of. Research vine maple. And Dave Robertson at Burl Quilt, that's Dave. Last I talked to him, he said that he had some vine maple, and it was at a good price. It was kind of in the $50 range for a good stave, and he's another guy you can trust. And shipping is heavy. It's a stave, and he's doesn't offer free shipping, but for about $100 you can get a nice fine maple stave. Work good for self bows. It's very snappy wood. And sinew back bows. And the interesting thing about vine maple, you could certainly take the bark off it. It usually comes with the bark on it, but you can make the bow and then you flex it back and the bark just pops off like magic. It's pretty cool stuff. Well, that's all. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to get over to a sawmill. There's a fellow named Nathan, the Cedar Mafia. He's into cedar. Cuts it, sells poles, skins the bark, has a sawmill, the whole 9 yards. And I went over there to buy mulch early in the spring. And I'm in the office, and Nathan is a great guy, If you're going to go and visit him, make sure you've got an extra 2 hours, because he will talk your ear off. Because he's just wood, and he's showing me a sawmill and these interesting pieces of wood he cut, and he's daring me to tell him what kind of wood it is, and I'm passing the litmus test for knowing different woods. But he had this stick. Keeps in his office. It's about yay long, and it's very dark. You probably know where I'm going with this. And he goes, tell me what kind of wood this is. And what do you do if you're a bow maker? You've got a dried stick, right? Well, you take it, you put one end on the ground, you hold the other end, you bend it in the middle to see, wow, can I make a bow out of this? That's what we do. And I go, this is Osage. And he was so pleased that I was the only person that he's done that to. And I'm sure he's done it to everyone that walked into his office that knew that it was Osage. And he's like, how'd you know that? And I go, I make bows. Give me a dried stick, I'm going to bend it. Well, that's going to be curious. If Nathan is there, not saying anything. It's got a sawmill that I heard works 2 shifts. It's got people cutting cedar. Read into that what you will. Have a great day, my friends.